So here's the question. Right? How old was Rivka when she married Yitzchak?
How old was Rivka?
Yeah.
Well, the previous parsha says that when she was born, and Yitzchak is already he had the Kedah. He was 38.
Okay.
So Rivka is born. So I would say she's probably around 3.
Right. That's the popular view.
Yeah.
Right? And why do you think she was 3? Right? Because how old is Yitzchak when he's married? 40.
40, yeah.
Right. So she's
37,
born at the
38,
Akedah.
Yeah.
And he was 38 at the Akedah.
Yeah, so about 3.
Right.
Or so. Yeah.
37, 38.
Yeah.
And she was 3 when they got married.
Yeah.
This is the general view of most of the commentators. Let me ask another question. Right. This week's parsha is Parsha Chaya Sarah. Right. So it's not. It's really about the death of Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And
I know what you're getting at. Yeah.
Why did Sarah die?
Why did she die?
Yeah. What is her?
Well,
anybody know why? Do you know why she died?
Why?
Why?
I have an idea. You want me to tell you why?
The age?
No, it wasn't the age. It was Satan showed the image of the Akedah and told her that he this is what he's doing to his son. But there's 2 interpretations. Some say that he told her that he lived, but that she had a heart attack because the fact that he would even do it. And then one said that he actually died and she had a heart attack because how can she? He remember the Akedah story. He doesn't tell his wife what he's doing. He just leaves in the morning and goes.
So okay, so
and then Satan, the Satan, displayed it to her, showing that this is in the Midrash said that look what Abraham did, and your son is dead, and
okay, so she
had
died
heart attack, broken the heart, shock,
yeah. Right. Okay. So, and there's one more question that's connected to this, is that it seems that they were in Beersheba, in the south of Israel, Beersheba, right? And that God told Abraham to go to what is today the Temple Mount, right? Mount Moriah, right? And there to bring his son as an offering.
Yeah.
Where did, does anybody know where it was that Sarah died? Do you know?
Where did she die?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not going to be on Moriah. She wasn't there. It's got to be back at the base camp, wherever she was living.
Sarah's lifetime was 100 years, 20 years, and 7 years. We'll talk about that some other time, right? Yeah. Those are the years of Sarah's life. Sarah died in Kiryat Arba, which is Hebron, the land of Canaan. So she died actually very close to where Abraham was. Right? They're both in the south of Israel.
Yeah, Hebron is not that far from it.
God says, go to Jerusalem, right?
Yeah.
To Abraham and Yitzchak, right? And they go with Eliezer and with Ishmael to basically to Jerusalem, right? And somehow Sarah, who's also in Beersheba, has gone along what is virtually the same road. They're very close to each other, right? To Hebron, and she's died there.
Yeah, but who told her to go there? But that doesn't say that. We should look at the Midrash.
It's curious, right?
Yeah. Why was I thought she would have been in? She didn't. He didn't tell her where he was going. At least I know.
Not home place.
Yeah. Why? What is she doing there? That's a good point. Yeah, never noticed
question,
that.
Right?
Yeah. Why?
So here's a couple of questions, right? Question number 1. It seems unseemly that Yitzchak would marry a girl at the age of 3. Right? It seems strange. To me, it seems strange that Sarah, who is a woman of tremendous faith, right, believes Satan.
Yeah.
Why don't you just say, hey, okay, you're doing your job, but I know who you are. You're the prosecutor, you're the tempter, right? I'm going to buy it, right? You know? Right? And 3, why did she leave where they were living and go to Hebron? So one of the explanations was given was that When she understood what Abraham was up to, she was very upset. So upset that she decided to leave where they lived. I don't want to actually use the word separation, but it would seem.
You mean the divorce from Abraham?
No, I didn't say divorce. I didn't say divorce. But it seems that she left the place they lived.
Yeah.
Right? In one commentator that I heard, he said she went to Hebron, where God had made the bris between the parts, the covenant between the parts with Abraham, to tell God, please tell my husband it's not your voice. He's hearing other voices. Right? Don't let him go through with this terrible thing. Right? And she went to Hebron to do that. Right? And then in Hebron she found out that Yitzhak had been killed.
Oh, yeah.
And so she died of a heart attack. It's curious. Now I'll give you a resolution to all these problems. We conclude this. Why? We conclude this because in the last parsha it says that the angel of Hashem called to Abraham a second time, and he said, by myself I swear the word of Hashem that because you have done this thing and have not withheld your son, your only one, that I shall surely bless you greatly and increase your offspring like the stars of the heavens and like the sand of the seashore, and your offspring shall inherit the gate of their enemy and all the nations, etc. Right? Abraham returned with his young men, and they stood up and they went together to Beersheba. Abraham stayed in Beersheba. That's what it says. Then it talks about, and after this, these things came to pass, and a whole series of children were born to Abraham's relatives. Right? It says, Abraham was told, saying, behold, Milcah has borne children to Nahor, your brother, Uz his firstborn, Buz his brother, Kemuel his father of Amram, and Chesed, and Chazo, and Pildash, and Jotba, and Bethuel begot Rebekah, Rivkah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Avram's brother, and his concubine, whose name was Reumah, who bore children, Teba, Gaham, Tahash, Makkah. That's what it says, right? And then it begins, Sarah's lifetime was, and she's finished, right? At the beginning. So Rashi from this concludes, right? What happened was, and you have to do the arithmetic backwards, right? Rivka's born, right? Sarah dies at 127, right? It means that if she died at 127, which it says here, so it means that Yitzchak had to be 37 because he was born when she was 90.
Yeah.
Everybody following the arithmetic?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then you're right. Okay. Abraham would have been 10 years older than Sarah at this point. And so if he's 37 when Rivka's born, and he's 40 when he gets married, because it says he's 40 when he gets married, right? She was 3. Right? There's one flaw in the ointment, right? Is that we don't know how old they were when all this happened.
Right? We don't know what?
We conclude, because we know how old Sarah was when she died, that she died the day after the Akedah, or the same day of the Akedah. Rashi says she died the same day of the Akedah, right? So if she died the same day of the Akedah, all this math that I just described works.
Yes.
But let me give you another set of numbers, okay? Imagine this, right? The Yitzchak is 27 years old, okay? Sarah is 117. Abraham's 127, right? Their home base is Hebron. It's always Hebron, right? When Yaakov comes back to see his father in what is Canaan in Israel, right? After he's been with his uncle Lavan for all these years, where does he find Yitzchak? Hebron. It says Yitzchak was living in a Hebron. Hebron was the home base for them. But one of Abraham's businesses was he was running an inn in the south of Israel, an eshel, right? And so he and the family went to check on business at the inn, make sure everything was flourishing there, right? They went to Beersheba together, right? And everything was going along. It was, they were working out of Beersheba, a satellite factory. And God knocks on the door and says, Abraham, take Yitzchak, the one you love, the one you waited for, and bring him as an offering. Bring him to a place I will show you. Abraham says, okay. Right? And off he goes. We won't go over all the questions of the Akedah and what was going through Abraham's mind. It's a separate question, right? Remember, this is 10 years earlier than what Rashi said. Right? This is the view of Nachmanides, Ramban. Right? They go to the Temple Mount. They finish the whole process. The four of them come back to Beersheba. Right? Mom is waiting. She's a woman of tremendous faith. We know that, right? And tremendous strength. I mean, Abraham is chesed. She's gevur. She's strong. Right? She's waiting there. God is going to do the right thing. She knows it. She knows it better than Abraham does. If you look at their behavior throughout their lives, right? Abraham gets tested. Sarah's already ahead. Right? They come back, right? And they live another 10 years.
She sees them.
Beersheba, here, there. Not just she sees them. They come back. They live together in Beersheba. Yeah. Everybody's in Beersheba for another 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? During these 10 years, right, Rivka's growing up.
Yeah, Rivka's not 3 anymore. Now she's much older.
Now she's 13.
13 years old, yeah.
Now Rivka's 13. Right?
Yeah.
Not a bad age to get married at, right? Not an uncommon age in those years for a woman to get married. 3 is young.
Yeah.
But 13, 12 is bat mitzvah, right? 13 is already considered a woman, right? 13. And by now they've migrated back to the hometown, back to Hebron, right? They've taken care of their business in Beersheba. They were there for 3 or 4 years, right? They came back to Hebron, right? They lived their lives at Hebron, right? And there, Sarah passed away, right? And you see in the conversation, even though Abraham describes himself as not somebody who really lives there, but a stranger among you, right? They don't treat him as a stranger among them. They say, you are a prince of God among us, right? B'nai Ches. They recognize who he is, right? And so when Sarah dies, right? She's 127. They've been 10 years after the Akedah that she dies. There's no shock. There's no heart attack. It's time. Right. For her.
I have another point.
And the only reason we hold the other chronology is because Rashi says she died of sudden fright.
Oh.
Because it was the next page. Now, I would add, humbly and with a certain amount of fear, I would add that we're very conscious that the Torah doesn't give us a day-by-day, year-by-year account.
Yeah.
Many times. 38 years in the Midbar is not accounted for, right? It jumps from year 2 to year 40, right? In the desert, everything else is Midrash. Abraham seems to be walking around at the age of 48 at the time of the Migdal Bavel, right? He's around, right? But the breaking of the idols and the Nimrod and the furnace and all the tests that go on, we don't know anything about him till he's 75, Lech Lecha. So to think that there was 10 years between the Akedah and the death of Sarah, and by the way, look at all these things that happened in between, all these people who were being born, right? There are lots of people being born, between the Akedah and we learn about Sarah's death. So it seems very possible that if you hold by Ramban, that it's a much easier chronology.
I have one that you can put in there to help and reinforce it. Look what it says in Sarah. It says that Rivka went into her tent and became the lady of the house.
That's right.
Now, a 3-year-old wouldn't do that, but a 13-year-old could.
That's a very good point. That's a very good
That's
point.
the first thing that popped in my mind when you said she's older. Well,
Yeah.
she says, it literally says here that
Yeah.
says that she took her tent.
Yeah.
Well, 3-year-olds don't take tents, but a 30-year-old, she's the woman of the house, she takes the tent.
Yeah.
It's
That's a
very
good
good
proof
point.
to what you're saying.
It's a very good point. So it's something to take home to the table,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I promised
like
a little
that.
board, right?
That's very
So
good, that one.
That chronology, it's not mine, it's Nachmanides, right? And it actually came from a question, right? Because last week, I've been struggling with this question for many years. I don't know why I didn't see the Ramban before.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
I
It's
said-
Nachmanides, Ramban, N.
Nachmanides.
Okay.
I asked our Rebbe, I said, how can it be? He said, well, if you hold by Rashi, that's what it is. Right? But if you hold by Ramban...
Signing these texts.
What?
It'd probably say Rashi in this one.
Which?
These numbers, like
They hold-
commentaries is Rashi.
All these
This is
maths, it becomes it
the 3-year-old
yeah,
Rivka.
yeah.
The 3-year-old
3-year-old.
Rivka is the commonly held
Maybe.
view. That's the commonly held view that he married her when she was 3. Right? That's the chronology. That Sarah died at the moment of the Akedah.
Like, that's why we rate to being 3 and him being 37.
That's right.
That's the only reason why we rate 37.
That's right. But
if we take away the fact that she didn't die on that day, we can't prove that he was 37 at the time of the Akedah.
That's right.
Right?
In fact, it would be very easy to say that she died. This whole section of Chaya Sarah happens 10 years after the Akedah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but if you don't,
There's
let's say
nothing in the text that says it happened immediately after.
Yeah. Okay. So if you take the 127 out, just take the Sarah dying 127 out.
No, you don't have to.
I know you don't have to, but if you didn't have that, there's nothing in the prior parshas that say he was 37 at the time. There's nothing that says that. No, that's what I thought.
No, it says he was 40 when he got married.
He was 40 when he got married.
And it says she was born at the time of the Akedah. Right?
But it doesn't say that was 3 years before.
But it also doesn't say he was 37 at the time of the Akedah.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, that's actually the...
So it could be anything.
We conclude he was 37
based on the fact
because Sarah died when
on
she was
the day
127.
of the Akedah, if you follow Rashi's interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we know that he was born when she was 90.
90, yes,
Right?
yes.
So when she died, he was 37 years old.
Yeah, but I like this explanation because of the fact that why is she in Hebron? That's one thing.
Right.
Why does Rivka assume the tent? This makes more logical sense. So I like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go read up more on one of these.
Yeah, read the Rambam.
I'm going to read around on it. Yeah. That's
So
really
it's a little thought. Next week, we're going to try to conclude.
We'll finish this.
We may conclude the last 3 pieces of this section, which are resentment, listening to evil, lashon hara, and judging one's neighbor.